Is being gay a sin? Before we say anything else, please know that being gay doesn't send anybody to hell. God uses only one fact to judge the world and determine who is saved and who isn't: faith in Jesus Christ. Here's the bad news. Piper, you can put the porta potties in the off-topic discussion things. It doesn't need a video of its own.
I don't know what Guitar Rocker is going to do with this. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to tweets. Apparently I forgot to change to this. There we go. Dale Partridge says, in the past, Christians produced the best music, art, architecture, universities, literature, and businesses. If in the past you mean like the Middle Ages, when basically all of the artists and creative types either worked for the church or didn't have work, then yes.
Yeah, like you're right.
Like,
but that wasn't Christianity producing those. That was Christianity killing people who didn't.
Well, who was the guy that did the Sistine Chapel ceiling? Was it Michelangelo?
Michelangelo.
Yeah. So Michelangelo, he used his gay lover as the model for Jesus on the Sistine Chapel. I don't think he was painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling out of a passion for Christianity.
No, it was definitely passion for guy dick.
Yeah. A lot of hot guys on that ceiling. So like, yeah, no, I don't like, and yeah, no, he, it's one of those historic facts that like, is not, it's one of those things where it's like, we know, we just can't say for sure that we know, but we know. But yeah, and then they say today we need more than Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, and In-N-Out. In-N-Out is a Christian company?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
they put Christian Bible verses on the, like there's the Bible verses. Sorry, they put Bible verses at the bottom of all their cups and on their paraphernalia.
Okay, well, glad I've never gone there then. Also, In-N-Out does sound like the name of a, like, it sounds like the kind of thing that you'd name your company if you were secular. Because it sounds like sex. I'll put my meat in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and then you get the mayo. The church must restore the will to produce exceptional, successful, and profitable endeavors. So it's the profitable bit at the end that's kind of killing it, because it's not like there's a dearth of Christian media out there. Like, God Awful Movies has just surpassed the 500 episode mark. They have watched more than 500 Christian movies, and they are not running out anytime soon. There is so much of that shit out there, and so much of it is incredibly profitable. Just look at the God's Not Dead franchise. And like they throw minimal budgets at these things, and then all the Christians go to see them because it's Christian media. So we have to support the Christian media, and we have to pretend like we like it.
Yeah, but the Christian media often sucks. Like,
yes,
Seth Andrews,
that's my point.
Seth Andrews did a really good piece on all the like media that Christians just ape.
Yeah, but it's like this is what I mean. Where profitable is what's killing the quality, because it's so easy to be a profitable Christian business in America. Because you slap the Jesus fish in your company logo, and suddenly all the Christians will be like, oh, that must be a good company. They've got the Jesus fish in their logo. And so like the people making movies are like, well, we could spend a lot of money and put a bunch of effort into making a good movie, but we'll make a lot more money if we half-ass it. So they half-ass it, and they make a lot more money because it's more profitable to do that. So like, this is where capitalism shoots you in the foot. Like you claim to be pro-capitalism here, but like capitalism is the reason why Christian media sucks.
And capitalism doesn't tend to make things better; just make things make more money. Like you
capitalism
make more money.
Like secular media is kind of going down the drain too. Like there have been very few good movies in the last like 5 to 10 years.
And some of those movies that are good are also just remakes.
And now there have been some excellent movies coming, but it's always stuff that you find out that like the writer had a creative vision for it and they fought tooth and nail against the corporate overlords that wanted to make everything safe, like
sanitized.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Sinners. Like Sinners, phenomenal movie. But isn't the Jesus fish symbol based on lady bits? It does look like that, but I don't think it is that. Yeah, I think the lore behind that is that it was like you would draw half of it in the sand, and then if the person you were talking to was a fellow Christian, they would complete it. And so it was like the secret code that Christians would use for the like 10 years that it was illegal to be Christian in the Roman Empire.
That they always have to reference back to.
I mean, I certainly could see Dan Brown having written that it was representative of lady bits. But Dan Brown made a bunch of shit up, so.
And I'm just getting flashbacks from the episode of South Park where Cartman becomes a Christian singer.
Mm-hmm.
He just starts making Christian music, and it's literally just random fucking love songs, but he's just swapped in Jesus' name.
Absolutely. And the thing about Christian music is if you actually put skill, like if you develop your musical abilities for the over the course of your career and you actually get good and you create music that it takes talent to play, then you're not going to be as successful as a Christian musician, because one of the things that determines your success is how well the congregations of the churches are familiar with your music, because then they'll actually go and look for your original songs. And what determines that is whether or not the no talent worship bands can play it. So you just need to have a simple chord progression that, like, you know, if we use too many bar chords, that's going to be too hard for the guys to play. So we need to just keep everything easy. And like, I say this as someone who is in a lot of Christian worship bands. Like, I'm not very good at guitar. I'm decent. I can play the chord progression. You hand me a chord sheet. If I'm semi-familiar with the song, I'll be able to play it. It's fine. But I am not good.
Like when
so they're aiming to get people like me to be able to play it. And so the more obvious it is that the worship team isn't doing the song justice, the less successful they will be.
Today we need more than Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, and In-N-Out. Thing is, Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, and In-N-Out aren't successful because of Christianity. They're successful because they are safe franchises that are put in other areas where other similar safe franchises would have worked. Like, In-N-Out is a burger chain that's primarily in places like Texas. Burger chains do well in Texas if they taste good. In-N-Out tastes good, it does well. Chick-fil-A, same idea. It's just a chicken restaurant. That's all it is. The concept of it being a Christian restaurant, I don't think lends itself very much to its success, generally speaking.
I can't play Freebird. I don't know it.
Stop everything and play Freebird right now. And then
I can hum it in my head.
And then Hobby Lobby. Do you know how many people, when you tell them that Hobby Lobby is a Christian organization with a series of controversies, do you know how many of them just kind of like tilt their head at you and go, "It's a Christian org? I didn't know that."
Yeah. So Default XT says, so Rhino won't be busting out Toccata and Fugue in D minor on guitar. I don't know that it's even possible to play that on guitar. It's barely possible to play on the organ, and that's the instrument it was written for. In fact, this is one of those stories that is not entirely confirmed, but Mozart actually, he used to have a job installing organs, and so the story goes that he wrote that to be the test piece to make sure the bellows of the organ was sufficient. So like, and this is actually, if you didn't know, this is where the phrase "pull out all the stops" comes from, because the organs have all these different little switches and valves and stuff that they change how the organ sounds. And to get the big full sound, you open all of the stops. And that's what "pull out all the stops" means. So for Toccata and Fugue in D minor, you pull out all the stops, and it goes so fast, and there's so many notes in it that it gives the bellows a good workout. So it's a good test for it. Anyway, that is your random music trivia of the day. Anyway, you were saying about people not knowing that Hobby Lobby is Christian?
So, like, most random Joe Schmoes on the street don't know that Hobby Lobby is a quote Christian organization. They don't know that. So I don't think that contributed so much to its success either. So when this person is just going like, Christians produce Chick-fil-A, Hobby Lobby, and In-N-Out, yeah, that's like saying that Christianity and Christians produced certain scientific theories. If the Christianity was not a main motivating factor that was part of its success, then I don't fucking care.
I always love it when they bring up Isaac Newton as a Christian. You're like, dude, he was a non-Trinitarian who believed in the occult. No Christian today would call him a Christian if he was running around proclaiming those beliefs. But because he was technically a Christian, and he made a lot of important advancements, they claim him as one of their own. Okay, Focus on the Family says, is being gay a sin? Before we say anything else, please know that being gay doesn't send anybody to hell. God uses only one fact to judge the world and determine who is saved and who isn't: faith in Jesus Christ. Here's the bad news. We all deserve to go to hell, but the good news is that God loves us in spite of our sin, and he sent his son Jesus Christ to purchase our redemption. So, this is
like
a
the
horrible
most back-asswards way to go like, well, being gay doesn't send you to hell, so you can be gay and be a Christian because we're all sinners, but it's really bad that you like it up the butt. Don't do that, Johnny.
There's a follow-up tweet that kind of says that that's not what they're going for here. But so what I got from this is like, this is a heinous and bigoted position to hold. This is essentially the love the sinner, hate the sin thing.
Yeah. Which I don't think is a doable thing.
So it's like, it's okay to be attracted to the same sex. It's just not okay to do anything about that. And it's turning around and being like, oh, like that's the defense when you say like, oh, well, you say that being gay is evil and sends you to hell. The Christian defense for that is like, oh, but we all deserve hell. So I'm just as bad as a gay person for the sins that I've committed. So I deserve hell, but I am forgiven by Jesus. The difference is that for a gay person to be forgiven by Jesus, they have to completely abandon like their permanent romantic relationships or any hope of having a romantic relationship. So like, it's not the same. But then I guess some people took from this what you said, and they were like, oh no, we need to clarify, we actually are worse people than that. So they posted a follow-up saying, this post has caused some confusion. Here's what we stand.
Here's what we stand.
Here's what we stand.
All right.
Focus on the family's
reference.
I don't know. I assume that was just a typo. Focus on the family's position has always been and continues to be consistent with Scripture. Homosexual behavior is fundamentally in conflict with the Christian faith. The idea of being a gay Christian is an oxymoron, antithetical to both the Bible and church history. At the same time, we have great compassion for those wrestling with unwanted same-sex attraction. What about those who have wanted same-sex attraction?
Yeah.
Or what about people like me, who I do not have same-sex attraction, but I like sucking dick? I'm not attracted to it. It's just a fun thing to do.
I also don't have same-sex attraction, but if the wiener's on a girl, I'll suck it.
And then for decades, we have walked alongside thousands of such individuals to help them steward their sexuality according to God's design. Those poor people, I feel bad for them.
I don't understand the concept of, like, suffering from same-sex attraction. It's only suffering from same-sex attraction if you're not able to act on it. And you're only not able to act on it if you either... Well, actually, no. You're only not able to act on it if a bunch of people are breathing down your neck about it. Because I was going to say, if you can't find a partner, but then you can just watch porn, and that's still acting on your same-sex attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the only problem here is the fucking church.
And then Fennec says, I don't suffer from it, I enjoy it. Indeed.
So they try to torture away the gay.
So Pastor Greg Locke was an urgent prophetic word about Iran. So this was an unhinged rant video, because I mean it's Pastor Locke, so of course it is. Basically, his thing is we need to back Israel and attack Iran immediately. Otherwise, they're going to have a chance to activate their sleeper agents that are all over the world who are going to destroy the government or something. He thinks there's a bunch of Iranian sleeper agents just ready to take down the government. And he's like, he's saying that he's prophesying this, that it will happen if the United States doesn't like completely crush Iran immediately. And notably, he also called several prominent right-wing pundits like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. There were a couple others that he named, but he called them Jew-hating Nazis. So I'm like, I love it when the bad guys are fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah. Dude, Tucker Carlson's been on a roll, just swinging at every other fucking Republican now.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I covered his fight with Ben
like,
Shapiro, or Ben Shapiro's fight with him, rather.
It's just one of those things where I don't care who wins as long as one of them loses.
The moment in the Ted Cruz interview, so I haven't seen the whole thing, but the clip where Ted Cruz is like, yeah, we need to attack Iran. We need to do it. It's a strategic right thing to do. And then Tucker just goes, how many people are in Iran? Do you know? And just Ted Cruz starts stumbling. He goes, okay, so the answer is 92 million. I think that would be very good and useful information to know before you start trying to bomb a country. Do you know the ethnic makeup of the country by chance? And then, like, Ted Cruz goes, well, I know there's some Persians there. And like, God. Like, I'm so happy that you watched 300. Congratulations. And Tucker just starts clowning on him on that, basically going, it's really weird that you're so gung-ho about killing a bunch of people when you don't know fuck all about them. Don't you think that's a weird thing to do, Mr. Cruz? Like, don't get me wrong, Tucker Carlson's still an awful piece of shit.
He's just an awful piece of shit that happens to be right in this one instance.
Correct.
Yeah, what a fucking weird timeline we live in where I can find myself agreeing with Tucker fucking Carlson about something.
I mean, it's a clock or a broken clock scenario, because the reason that Tucker Carlson came to his conclusions is not because of some like love for humanitarianism. It's because he's an isolationist. He's part of the Republican wing that is America First isolationist, which is the same.
Like, actually America First, not the Donald Trump. America First means what I mean it.
Yeah.
When I say it. Did you see the thing where like he thinks he invented that term?
Yes, I did. And I covered the Ben Shapiro bit where Ben Shapiro argues that he did. Despite the fact
America
that
First has literally been around since before he was born.
Yeah, I was like, despite the fact that Dr. Seuss made cartoons clowning on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I decided not to pull this 6-minute video and make you guys watch it, because it is unhinged. But yeah, Greg Locke thinks that there's Iranian sleeper agents that are about to be activated to destroy the government. So yeah, bet you he'll definitely own up to being wrong about that when it doesn't happen. Or more than likely, anyone who does something in the government that he disagrees with, he'll be like, "That's a sleeper agent." Okay, sorry, there's a bunch of long ones today. So Matt Walsh says, there's a lot of intentional obtuseness going on. Some of us are warning that we don't want a regime change war in the Middle East. Then we get throngs of accounts yelling at us that Trump isn't doing a regime change war, so we should just shut up. Yes, we know he's not yet. We're speaking up loudly now because we want to make sure it doesn't happen. We've been alive for the past few decades and we know how these things often go. We also hear highly influential war hawks like Lindsey Graham openly and explicitly calling for regime change. It is perfectly reasonable for us to worry about such a possibility. So here's the thing. The main reason I pulled this is because it's a delightful irony that, like, those of us on the left have been warning about Trump's authoritarian tendencies for nigh on a decade now. And everybody, including Matt Walsh, was like, "Oh, you guys are overreacting. You don't need to do like no. He's not a fascist." Like fucking Fetterman was like, "Oh no, he's not a fascist because the military during his parade weren't literally goose stepping." Like, okay, our soldiers were allowed to bend their knees during the birthday celebrations for dear leader. Does not make him not a fascist. Like, the goose step was certainly something that the fascist used, but that doesn't mean that you have to use it in order to be considered fascist. There are other warning signs, but like we've been told to like just calm our tits for ages now, even when it's like staring us in the, like he's sending the military after civilians. He's arresting elected officials. And we're told, oh, this isn't fascism, this isn't authoritarianism.
And yet,
but we've been ringing these warning bells for ages, and people like Matt Walsh have enabled that sort of thing. So now they're turning it on him because he's been like, hey, this is a step too far. And suddenly that attitude that he has been cultivating for a decade now is turning around to bite him on the butt.
if you do nothing but instill fanatical fervor in your base, do not be do not be surprised when that fervor turns into something you don't like.
Yeah. And then my favorite was that Nick Fuentes responded to this by saying, "You work for Ben Shapiro."
Is the only thing that he can muster, you're a Jew and you work with
basically.
Jews.
Basically, yeah. That's essentially it. I can't see what else he would be, like, what other reason he would have for saying that.
Like, we get it. Ben Shapiro's Jewish. And?
I don't know. I just like that they're all fighting amongst each other.
So my problem, though, is that we watched a schism happen between, like, the hardline MAGA and your more basic, neocons and paleocons. We saw this shit happen near the end of Trump's presidency before. And guess what? It didn't fucking matter, because we're still here now.
Yep.
So, I don't... Like, watching them...
Democrats are, like, kicking people out of the party for trying to rock the boat.
Yeah, kicking David Hogg out of the party for trying to rock the boat. And
fucking Fetterman is like, I don't understand why people booed me. I'm a Democrat.
It doesn't matter that you're a fucking Democrat. Philadelphia hates you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you ran on a platform that you are not advocating for now, and you turned into basically a Republican light. So yeah, they hate you. The D beside your name does not automatically mean you are loved and adored. If you wanted that, you should have run as a Republican, but then you would have lost in that district.
Yeah, it's the agitating thing to me that
no. Fetterman had a stroke and turned into a dino. First off, I don't really like the Democrat name only thing, because that's too much of a you must agree with the party thing that you see on the Republican end of things. I would much rather tolerate disagreement on our side. There's if you go to the channel Some More News, they did a whole thing on Fetterman and how he's been like this the entire time. He just pretended to be progressive to win the election, and then as soon as he won the election, he went back to being exactly what he was before he was running. So, yeah, no, the stroke had nothing to do with that. He's always been this way.
I guess we could use, like, progressive in name only, but at that point, we're still...
I still don't like
we're still
utilizing
just no
the
true
same...
Scotsmaning. Like, I've used the term dino before, unironically, and I'm still probably going to use it in the future, but I can understand that, like, it literally just looks like no true Scotsmaning.
Yeah, it's not even about that. It's well, I mean, yeah, I guess it is kind of no true Scotsman. It's like, if you don't agree with my positions, then you don't get to use the party name. It's like, one of the things that we value on the left is diversity. And like, yeah, there are going to be people that are not as far left as us. And that, like, it's okay to allow the centrists to call themselves Democrats.
I want to agree with you, but I have a hardline stance. If you're a Democrat and you are not in favor of trans rights. I just don't fucking want you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
I'd rather see you bite a curb
So
than be in
you're still
politics.
registered as a Democrat, but fuck off. Just switch it to an R already.
Like there are certain hard line issues that I'm willing to be a stick in the mud about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "How easily they forget. There is only one king, Jesus," and posts a screenshot of a CNN article from 2012 that was said the headline was "Liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president." So I read the article. Basically, Obama had an approval rating of 70% among Democrats, and of the 30%, they were like, "Oh, these 30% don't think he's doing enough, so they want him to be a king." So it was very much a like, "Oh, he's not working fast enough for people, so what do you want him to do? Be an authoritarian?" It's not that anybody actually came out and said, "I want him to be a king." Unlike Trump, who has posted memes about him becoming king.
Yeah, like the idea was floated a few times during the Obama presidency from the Republicans that he would try to use things like martial law in order to extend his presidency, stuff that never really happened. Whereas Trump has repeatedly flirted with the idea publicly of getting a third term. There's a very big difference here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when Obama got stonewalled by Mitch McConnell for trying to get a new Supreme Court justice in when one of the justices died, Mitch McConnell stonewalled him. And instead of going over his head, he respected the division of powers and let him do his thing, which I think is a stupid fucking thing to do, and it was stupid fucking then, and it's stupid fucking now. But by comparison, that's not what Trump did. Trump did everything in his power to make sure that not one, not two, but three justices went in under his time, even when he was potentially a lame duck, because we didn't know if he was going to get a second term when he went up against Biden, and then he didn't.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that ticks me off about this more than anything. It's the term king. I understand that from a flavor perspective, things like the No Kings protest and the liberals don't want Obama to be a president, they want him to be a king. The word king carries a lot of weight to us in America because we have a particular history with the term king. But the term that actually fucking matters here is autocrat. Mm-hmm. The actual word for what Trump is and what he's been trying to do is autocracy. Which, yes, most kings are autocrats, because they can be. An autocrat is anybody who ignores divisions of power and tries to have full control over everything. Trump does that. He's an autocrat. Yes, kings are also autocrats, but you can be a president and be an autocrat, whereas you can't be a president and be a king. And I feel like part of that might be me being pedantic, but I've also seen so many goddamn arguments about the No Kings protests on my feed over the last, 3 days. This is a thing that I kind of want to be a stick in the mud about.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, it's worth mentioning that, the White House, the official White House Twitter account did post a picture of Trump wearing a crown. So,
yeah,
as much as we can say, hey, we would have liked it if Obama did things in a more direct way that could have, looked authoritarian. It's another for the actual official White House thing to be let's just post a picture of our guy as dressed up as a king. Well, he's floating the idea of a third term.
It's frustrating.
Oh, so
this doesn't look like Twitter.
No, this is my YouTube comments. So Tiger Owl Monkey said, "What are the pleasures of life? They're either unhealthy, illegal, or immoral. Give one example of a pleasure that doesn't fall into one of those categories." Enjoying a nice meal. I mean, that
Yeah.
can be unhealthy depending on what you're eating, but like, I like vegetables.
I ate a couple of beaver nuggets. That wasn't super healthy. I have to explain what those are now, don't I?
I, well, we have a snack in Canada called beaver droppings. So I'm wondering if they're the same thing.
So beaver nuggets are a snack from Buc-ee's. So you're already not going to like them because it's made by the cult.
They're stealing it from us.
So beaver nuggets are basically corn puffs covered in chocolate.
Oh, that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, beaver droppings are like nuts and pretzel sticks, also covered in chocolate. But yeah, getting lots of people watching a sunset. Yeah, that's not unhealthy, illegal, or immoral. But so this was in my. What I found funny here is that this was on my video talking about the arguments for Christianity, or arguments for God. That I went through the top 10 or whatever and explained why I don't find them why I don't believe them. One of them was Pascal's wager, which isn't really an argument for God. But what I found hilarious about that is like, I quoted Pascal because he wrote about how like, if you can't make yourself believe, like he recognized that you can't make yourself believe. So he's like, okay, well, if you can't convince yourself to believe in God, then you should sacrifice pleasure. And then that will cause you to grow in faith. So those are the words that he used. He said that you are giving up your pleasure in order to grow your faith. And so many people in response to that was like, well, you don't have to give up pleasure to be a Christian. Clearly, you don't know what it means to be a Christian. You're like, I was just quoting the guy that came up with the goddamn argument, man. Like, but on top of that, like, this person is clearly thinking of like things like drinking or sex or drugs or whatever. And it's just like, okay, but there are plenty of atheists that don't do those things. And like, yeah, technically I'm living in sin right now. We have sex outside of marriage every time we have sex. But like, it's not functionally different from if we were married.
Yeah, there's nothing different other than a piece of paper, really, at that point.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not going to follow Pascal's advice and give up all my pleasure in this life in order to hope that maybe I'll grow faith to maybe end up in the Christian heaven. But, yeah.
What do we have next?
What would be having sex adjacent to marriage? Cuckoldry?
Yeah, would be.
Maybe. Frank Turek says,
boy.
if you don't have somebody that can speak truth into your life, a mature Christian, then you need to find somebody who can and give them the permission to do so.
So what, am I just going to go to a random pastor and just be like, I need you to humiliate me. Tell me God doesn't like me. Tell me God doesn't like what I've been doing, please.
Humiliate me, Daddy.
I need you to know that God knows that I know what God knows I should be doing.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking of like my relationship with my partner. She is not afraid to tell me when I'm being dumb. So like, yeah.
I just don't understand. Like, please go find a mature Christian. Frank, you're not my idea of a mature Christian. You're not. You're my idea of an uppity snob.
He's still the guy that like it just baffles me that like if I go too long without covering him on my channel, I'll inevitably get comments from people complaining that I'm afraid of the heavy hitters like Frank Turek. But like, he's such a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know. It defies explanation here. Like every time I've covered him, it's just been like, no, he's like so wrong. He's so very wrong. He's so obviously very wrong. How did he miss that? Is now maybe he's not stupid. Maybe he's not an idiot. Maybe he's just a liar. That's possible.
I think he knows his audience and knows that it's what makes him money. That's where I'm gonna sit. Like, unless I find out one day that Frank Turek actually makes his money working at a fast food joint and this is just his hobby, I'm going to assume it's because this is what his audience wants.
Yeah. Well, what I find funny, there's a video where he talks. So I have him in my what I call the genocide montage, where like anytime the moral argument comes up, Christians or the apologists are always like, well, like instead of actually saying whether or not they think genocide is morally acceptable sometimes, they will instead pivot and be like, oh, well, how do you say that genocide is wrong without a god? And that's where I have my genocide montage, where it's like, okay, well, here's the thing. When you guys talk about the genocides, you don't appeal to God's nature as being the reason why they're acceptable. You appeal to utilitarianism. You're like, oh, the culture that they wiped out was so very, very bad that it brought about a greater good to wipe them out than allowing them to continue to exist. That is inevitably the excuse that they give. They won't say it so plainly. They'll just describe the bad things that the culture did. And Frank is in that montage talking about how, like, oh, they were sacrificing their babies on the molten hot god Molech. And so that was terrible. So, and they had 400 years of warning, but they kept doing it. So eventually God had to send the Israelites in to put a permanent stop to it. It's like, okay, that's utilitarianism.
Yeah,
That is you saying that they brought about a greater good. And then he has a video where he's like, someone asks him about that. He's like, okay, well, you give a utilitarian excuse for this. And he's like, I'm not saying that God plays a utilitarian game. I'm saying that God brings about a greater good through these bad actions. And was like, my God, Frank, that is what utilitarianism, that is definitionally utilitarianism. And it's, I don't know, it's just so
how can you say
it's so beautifully stupid.
How can you say genocide's bad when you actually think genocide's good?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because like when you hear apologists bring up, like, when they want to make the point that everybody has the same sense of morality, they will always bring up something shocking. And it's almost always torturing babies for fun, which is another thing that I have a montage of several of them saying that. And the reason I suspect for that is because, like, you can't use genocide as the example, because even though most people around today would be like, yeah, genocide is bad, they would agree with that, they can't use that as the example because God does genocide sometimes. So
Yep.
It clearly can't always be wrong. And torturing babies. Okay, well, God once tortured a baby to death in order to punish that baby's father. That was when King David raped Bathsheba.
Also, what
So we
happened
can't
to
use torturing babies as the example because God does that sometimes.
also what happened to Job's kids?
And Job's kids.
What
Well, they
happened
weren't
to
babies.
Job's
They were
kids?
They were adult children. So we can't use torturing babies. So what about torturing babies for fun? God doesn't do it for fun. So that can be the thing that we go to. So that, like, it's quite telling that they have to add the for fun modifier there, because anything less than that, and it's like, oh, that's a thing that your God did. So you believe that that is right at least some of the time.
The torturing
just-
babies for profit is all right if you're indifferent about it, though.
I guess.
That's capitalism, baby!
Woo! And Frank is the last one today, so we are done.
We didn't even have a K-Sorbs today.
No, K-Sorbs was just
Boring.
just like posting. He was posting other people's things, being like, "What do you guys think about this?" It's like, okay, that doesn't really lend itself to the format of the show.
No, not really. I mean, technically, we could say what we think about things.
Yeah, but then what's the point in having the K-Sorbs tweet? I would just pull the original tweet in that case.
What do you guys think of this? I don't know.
I think K-Sorbs is an idiot. And of course, disappointed.
I just...
Okay.
I hate this timeline. You know that, right?
Yeah, we all do. We are in the stupidest timeline.
We are, and it doesn't seem to get any better.
Are you continuing to stream after this?
I don't think so. I am... God, fuck. Ah, why?
Okay.
No,
okay.
stop
I get it.
yawn.
I get it. You don't need to ham it up.
No, that was me trying to stop the yawn from continuing.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Yeah, you don't have to believe me. That's entirely fine. Chess Dog says, yo, it's your boy K-Sorbs. Disappointed crowd, let's go.
It's Skibbity Sorbs.
It's your boy Skibbity Sorbo here.
Oh my god.
But no, I don't think I'm going to because I have a toothache and it's not going away and hasn't gone away in days and it seems to be exhausting me.
Okay, well, you're the only person that I follow that's live right now, so I'm not rating anyone.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. As always, fuck off.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full-time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.